We have Jennifer Ferris on the line. Jennifer is a 21-year practicing lawyer in Orange County, California. She really didn't start taking the MegaDefense. She was a little bit skeptical, a little bit hesitant. A friend of hers introduced her to the MegaDefense. She can't believe what's taking place and what's going on in her body. And I'm going to bring her on right now. She's going to kind of tell you a little bit about her situation and then how much she's taking and then what the relief is going on, what is happening inside of her body. So we're going to go now to Orange County, California. Jennifer Ferris, are you on the line with me?
Hello, Korey. Thank you for letting me share my story.
Great to have you on. If you wouldn't mind, share with everybody what your issues had been prior to getting on the MegaDefense here with Wayora.
Oh, I would be happy to do so. In March of this year, I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease, which is an autoimmune disease where the body attacks the thyroid gland and makes you hypothyroid. I suffered for the past 2.5 years with this disease. I just didn't know that I had it. I just knew that I was miserably ill. And this condition causes other things to happen, including high cholesterol and insulin resistance. I'm an attorney, and I found it really almost next to impossible to run my practice. The impact this disease had on all facets of my life was nothing short of severe. I gained over 50 pounds in this time period. My joints hurt. My hair was falling out. Literally, I couldn't sleep. I had just a chronic feeling of illness, and quite frankly, I was very hopeless. And once I was diagnosed with the Hashimoto's in March this year, my only option was Synthroid. And that just wasn't acceptable for me. Luckily, Soraya Glenna, who's my sister, who had talked about Wayora, and I just kind of put it aside. It was, something that she was doing. She then came to me one more time and said, "You've got to get on these products." So I did on March 17th, which is a pivotal day. I started with EDN, FiberBlend, Chava, NCD, and Agari Gold. Within 2 weeks, the changes I experienced were nothing short of remarkable. I started to sleep a little bit more. My metabolism started to normalize. My energy levels started to climb. I started to get a feeling of well-being that I thought was going to elude me. And in fact, I had blood work done within a month and a half after starting this whole protocol, and my cholesterol level dropped 24 points, which was incredible to me because, it was just nothing short of a miracle. But the most radical changes came in this past May when the MegaD was released. I started to take it instead of the Agari Gold and the NCD, and I added it to my protocol, and I started taking it 2 times a day, and I immediately felt the impact. I started to now sleep more through the night. My energy levels came up, and a lot of the physical signs that I was experiencing, the Hashimoto's, had been severely reduced, if not gone. And then recently, in the last 2 weeks, I started taking the MegaDefense 3 times a day. And oh my God, I kid you not, the impact that the third MegaD had on my body was incredible. I feel pretty much normal. I feel the same way I did before the Hashimoto started to ravage my life. I get up in the morning, I'm able to exercise, I'm able to eat normal. My ability to concentrate and work, I've improved remarkably. I'm back to my normal 40 to 50 hours a week working. MegaDefense has radically changed my life. And in fact, I started to lose weight, something that's almost next to impossible with Hashimoto's. It tells you cannot lose weight. I'm losing weight, I'm sleeping well, and it's just remarkable. I cannot tell you enough about MegaD on my life and how it's helping me battle Hashimoto's.
Thank you very, very much, Jennifer. I appreciate that. And she's got her life back. You can Google Hashimoto's as well, understand what it is. Lots of issues, lots of problems going on with many major issues. Some are small issues as well. Maybe they're allergies or asthma, or maybe it's, heartburn or, something more major, like a life-threatening illness or disease. But all types, from the smaller to the larger to the life-threatening, the product seems to have a major effect on people. And you notice what Jennifer talked about. She said 3 capsules a day. There was something that happened when she started taking that 3rd capsule. pretty amazing. I mean, literally, you can put that glass bubble around you for about $1, $20, $25 a day, and you can turn around as a child, consume it for around that 60 cents per day number. Again, thank you, Jennifer, for sharing your information, and congratulations on the success you're receiving from taking the product. I know it's a lifesaver for you and your family. Let's go from Southern California, Orange County. We're going to go to a gentleman who I've known for about 20, right at 22 years myself. He's actually out of the Sioux City, Iowa area. He's actually his credentials are amazing. I mean, this guy is known around the country. He's a licensed clinical psychologist. He's also a certified health coach. His name is Raul Sanchez, Dr. Raul Sanchez. Raul, do we have you on the line?
Okay, I'm here.
Hey, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great.
It is great to have you on. Thanks for joining us. There's lots of folks listening in from all around North America and around the world, Doctor. Number one, congratulations for joining the team. I know you've been here. Before you actually joined on, you wanted to consume some of the products, and you got some results from some of those products. If you wouldn't mind just sharing the results you've received yourself. I know you've got several patients taking the product, and you're starting to possibly see some benefit, but yourself, you were your own walking testimony before you even started sharing. And I know, Doctor, you've been approached by lots of other health products, and there are some good ones out there, but something set this one apart. If you wouldn't mind kind of sharing that a little bit as well.
Yes, great. I'm going to back up a little bit. I'm going to start with my wife's name is Stacy, and she comes from an unfortunate line of cancer. So her mother, Fran, died in December of 2012. 2010, after a 10-year battle with ovarian cancer that moved up in her back and then moved into her brain, so the third time killed her. And so we had been trying to talk about this whole system as a family. We had been looking at some products. Specifically, the one that was in the lead was a product out from the University of Minnesota. And I had been pushing my wife to try some things, and she's very sensitive. She gets sick. She's lightheaded. She battles allergies. So it's very difficult. So I talked to Korey in March. I took a month's supply myself. My personal story is I battle allergies very, very severely. So does my mom. I grew up here in Sioux City, Iowa. I went up to North Dakota State, played college football, and I didn't have any allergies there. I went to the University of Iowa, went to graduate school, no allergies. I did a residency in Des Moines, had a little bit of allergies, started medicine, came to Sioux City and just got beat up. I had vertigo at age 30, and my ear, nose, and throat doctor literally cussed at me because, not at me, but just because when he saw my ears and he saw what was happening, he said it's the worst case ever. He actually lectured me because he thought I was putting these big old subwoofers in my car, and I said, no, I don't do that. He's like, what's going on with you? And I'm like, I just had this stuff all my life, So my thing is I'm an athlete, I still work out, but I have to take an allergy pump, an asthma pump, and I have two of them. One of them is a preventative one called Adavir, and the other one is more to prevent asthma attacks, so I take that also. And I was also taking a Mucinex product and also then taking Allegra D. And so my first thought was, okay, I'm going to take it first. I talked to my buddy Korey, and I put myself on it for 30 days, taking close notes, watching. Within literally 2 weeks, I had headaches because I was a little bit lightheaded because I was breathing too well. And I explained it to like when you go to some place where you get good clean air and you take deep breaths and it almost burns. So I took myself off of the lightest product, which was the Mucinex, and I waited another few days. I took myself then off of my Allegra, and I still had my inhaler pump. And my first test was, I'm going to try to run a 5K. I'm going to see what I can do. And I ran, and just out of habit, I grabbed my inhaler, and I'm ready to hit it. And after one pump, I thought, oh, crud, I was going to wait and see how I did. So the next time I run, I did everything normal and didn't take it. Come home and showed my wife. I was like, I'm feeling great. Came off all my meds. So after about 30 days on for me, I grabbed some more product. I put my wife on it, and I had her type out her her testimony here, and I'm just going to read it word for word. She says, every April and May I have seasonal allergies. My throat, mouth, ears, and eyes itch horribly. I have a runny nose. It feels like a horrible bad cold. My eyes itch so bad I feel like I can claw them out. When we started taking Wayor in late March and early April, I had not had any allergy symptoms that whole time. I have not had to take any allergy medicine at all for any of those symptoms. It has been absolutely awesome. So her story is she would always take Tums. She would also take Prevacid because she has really bad heartburn on top of her allergies. And she was on a very heavy medicine called Dexalent. And in fact, we had a second opinion, and one doctor said, no, this is bad for your heart. The other one said she needs it. So we were kind of torn on what to do. So the Wayor products came at a beautiful time for us. And so she has stepped down into a softer med. And we just switched her to the MD, the MegaDefense product. For the first 8 or 6 weeks, we've been taking NCD2 and the Korey Gold. And just as a testimony, we've been doing exactly as prescribed. I didn't want to, I'm kind of anal about some of these things, so I didn't want to go outside of the recommended dose just to see how that would affect us first. And that's what we've been doing. And so she's come off she's come out of 3 out of 4 meds, and I've come off of 3 of 3. So that's an incredible testimony there. I have some families in the office who are taking both the NCD and the Korey Gold because they've gone a little bit earlier, or they've just now started on the MD. And the best testimony I have is a adult woman with 4 kids, and she's battled vertigo. And when she started taking it, she was really pleased because she had her first 2-week period without any symptoms, where she has to lay down on a bed and she's lightheaded and she has to ground herself by hanging onto the wall because of room spin. So I have people on for anxiety, Asperger's, which is a high-functioning autism, and then some ADD products that people are coming off of. My biggest thing has been, I've been putting families for years on a product called kelp salt soaks. They have to sit in a bath to kind of detox heavy metals. This is for autistic kids. And they also get on a product called EDTA, which is a solation therapy. The problem with that is it's so heavy, it pulls out all the positive minerals as well. And again, a little bit like chemotherapy, if we don't have to, why wipe out the good with the bad? That's the bad thing. So MD, the MegaDefense product, has allowed me to give and suggest one product per family, and it takes away from a lot of other money that they're spending on several different products. And also it's easy. You take one in the morning with breakfast, and then again for these guys, they take one at dinner, as opposed to a 30-minute salt soak. And then also if they have a sauna or some sort of whirlpool, they have to get in and get heat, so they burn it out through sweat glands. We naturally detox about 25% of toxins through our sweat. So if you're not sweating, you're not detoxing. The great thing about MD is I describe it as the old school argument, nature versus nurture, which if you remember your college days, that's genetics versus parenting. Roughly, in the research, it's about a 60-40 split, 60% genetic, 40% parenting. So you can pat yourself on the back. We're all doing pretty well, right? So when we listen to our biochemist who usually talks on Wednesday nights, Dr. Rick, he usually talks about the MD and specifically the H1X1 being the immune modulator. Well, in parenting, we as parents are modulators. What does that mean? That means that if I have an anxious kid and I'm very anxious, I then modulate my child's anxiety to get worse. However, if I have an anxious child and I'm bold and I'm not anxious, I then modulate my child's anxiety to slow down. And the cool thing about MD is it's the ultimate parent, because some of us have a hyperactive immune system and it's attacking our body. Like Jennifer from California talking about how, her body's attacking herself. That's a hyperstimulant, her immune system's overactive. The MD then parents that and modulates it down. If some of us have, for example, a hypothymic, where our thyroid isn't working fast enough, the then MegaDefense will pick that up. So it's our ultimate parent that's parenting us under the surface. So it's that internal piece that we can just totally relax. And as Korey says, puts us in a bubble. It's an amazing thing for me to know that my wife is fighting a genetic history of cancer. Her only aunt on her mom's side is alive, and she's currently in remission battling cancer. So not only am I excited about what this is doing for us with allergies and our asthma kind of issues, but I'm so relaxed now knowing that we have this older parent that's parenting our immune system under the surface, under the under the thing that we can see. So very excited. Thank you for having me on the call. I appreciate your help. I appreciate the product, and thank you.
Dr. Sanchez, thank you very much for being here. We appreciate you chiming in, and we're excited, actually. We'll have you back again and share again on the line.